pencils are down, and we are going to start and begin for our assessment on multiplying decimals. When I move, you move just like that. You are focused on me at the whole time. My thinking so that you can in turn model behind me. Okay? So, the first one, multiplying decimals by a whole number. I know a decimal is a part. I know a whole is all pieces. So I'm multiplying a part by a whole number. James is making cakes for Thanksgiving. He's baking 3 cakes. Each cake requires 8/10 cup of sugar. It is asking me to shade the grid to model how much sugar James will need to make his cakes. Write an equation to show how much sugar James needs. Okay, so first of all, I have to figure out how to find out, all eyes on me. I need to figure out how to get all of the sugar, right? So I know he's making 3 cakes, and it says each cake is 8/10 cups of sugar. So 3 cakes in each cake. So I know that the word each means multiply. So this is telling me that my expression is 8/10 times 3. Now, I said expression because I don't have an answer yet. But I have to get an answer to make this an equation. Okay? So, it looks like the 3 times 8/10. I'm going to write it over to the side. I am multiplying a whole by a 10. Because I sometimes get confused as to where my decimal goes. All eyes on me. I get confused as to where my decimal goes after I multiply. So I figured if I said I'm multiplying a whole, which is 1, times a 10th, which is my part, I know my answer is going to be a 10th. Okay? So that tells me my answer is going to be a 10th. I know that 8 times 3 or 3 times 8 is 24. Yeah, because 8 and 8 is 16. 16 plus 8 is 24. So, how do I make 24? I'm sorry, 8 times 8 is 24, excuse me. But how do I make it a whole, a 10th? A 10th. So, if I take my digits, 2 and 4, I have to put a decimal after my ones place. So, 2 and 4/10. Does that make sense? My turn. 2 and 4/10. I know 8 8/10 is almost 1. Okay? So another 8/10 is another 1. And another 8/10 is almost 1. So I know I at least have 2. So this makes sense. So how do I shade it in on my grid? 2 and 1/10. If I'm noticing correctly, these are hundredths grid. Okay? So I can take care of the 2 real quick. I'm going to shade in the whole thing. That's 1. I'm going to shade in another whole 100 grid. That's another whole. Now it's saying 4/10. But this is hundreds. I know this 2 and 4/10 is equivalent to 2 and 40 hundredths. So I can still get this done. So I need to shade in 10, 20, 30, and 40. So now I have my 4/10. 1 plus 1 plus 4/10 is 2 and 4/10 worth of sugar. And I now have an equation because an equation includes the answer. Take a look. Any questions? Get with me. At this time, I see people circling important numbers as I did. Shading in the grid as I did. Board. My thoughts about what kind of grid this is. My thoughts about how to get my decimal in the correct spot.